Okay, so this little fact about me will likely get my anime reviewer card revoked for the rest of my life, but I have to be honest with you guys. Up until a few weeks ago, I had never seen Steins Gate, never watched, never even thought about it, but recently I finally decided that after years of putting it off, I'll give it a watch, and wow, there was something wrong with my ass because this shit right here, this shit is pretty damn good. Might I say, it's kind of amazing. And listen closely, guys, I love me a good mindfuck anime every once in a while, but some of them are only mindfucks because they don't actually make any sense when it comes to how they're written, so I didn't have too high of expectations coming into it because that's kind of what I expected from anime like this. But now I'm furious and just really angry as hell because there's no reason for all the twists and turns of this show to work as well as they do. There's no reason for them to make as much sense as they do. Like to the writers of the source material, you guys are just wow. Just wow. I don't even know how to properly review this because even though I finished the show about a week ago now, it still hasn't fully settled in. Like, there are very few series out there that have hooked me so damn hard and have left me with so much to think about after finishing it. I don't really get into visual novels and stuff like that, but this definitely makes me want to go back just to see how it was done there because it's just such an interesting story that deserves all the attention and hype it's gotten over the years. And I'm annoyed that I hadn't gotten into it sooner. Sorry to interrupt, guys, but I just wanted to let y'all know that you guys should follow my Twitter at a Dodger Kid, just so you can see more takes from me, to interact with me, get updates on videos, and just to discuss a bunch of stuff about anime, manga, comics, anything like that. I like discussing with y'all, and Twitter is the best place to do that, so follow me on Twitter, that's at a Dodger Kid, and oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the channel too. Back to the video. The plot is obviously very, very well done and crafted very, very carefully. There were times, especially in the middle section, when you could tell the episodes were following a bit of a formula, but when they did, it was never for too long to the point where it becomes repetitive. The structure of the story isn't constructed like most other anime out there and instead shifts the structure of episodes a lot between each respective story beat. And while the story doesn't exactly have a central antagonist figure, the looming threat of what's to come never fades away despite it not existing within one specific person. After all, the enemy of this story is time itself. Of course, the main opposing enemy is CERN, but they're more of a threat of superstition rather than an actual enemy to go up against, since the goal is to prevent what they could do in the future rather than now. And there are loads of plot twists within the story, more than I can count, and there was never a point where I felt exhausted by them. From the very first episode, everything that happened only led me to become more curious because the twists are crafted so carefully that they never give too much away, and rather only lead into another twist that recontextualizes everything that happened prior. And, well, speaking of recontextualizing, those final episodes, just fucking amazing, man. When we get to the point of seeing the video of alternate future Okabe's message to young Okabe, revealing why all of his superstitions came to be, because he's the one who made them up in the first place, it has to be one of the most genius revelations I've ever seen in storytelling. Every little detail matters, every little action matters. It's part of one of the main subjects of the story that's put forth in the butterfly effect, as even the smallest of actions changed in the past could cause catastrophic changes in the future. Because, that's how the butterfly effect works, obviously. If there's one aspect of this story that this show excels at, it's tension. From midway into episode 1 to the very end of the last episode, I was glued to my screen just wondering what could possibly happen. Because really, no one is safe here. Yes, the show has a very happy ending and no one is dead by the end, but that's not really the point here. These characters suffer through their different variants in the timelines, and that suffering and psychological damage is what this show builds its tension around. Everyone is affected, even if Okabe is the only person that can remember these things, and eventually some of them remember them as well, and that stuff sticks with them. At certain points, you can feel the hopelessness in the atmosphere because of Okabe's downward spiral, and there are so many moments where you wish he would just say everything he's feeling, but it doesn't happen because the show is smarter than that. It's able to express his mental state through subtle changes in his mannerisms, facial expressions, his actions, and just his overall thought process. Words cannot express how much I like this guy, despite some of the weird things he does in the story. He's one of the best protagonists I've seen in anime, and is one of the best examples of a hidden hero who, despite how badly the odds are stacked against him, will never stop pursuing the best outcome for everyone he cares about, willing to fight time itself to create a future where he and everyone he knows can be safe and happy. He even makes it clear that he doesn't give a damn about anyone else that dies in World War III, but if it means bringing back someone he loves, then that's enough to get him on board. He's a selfish protagonist done well, and more writers should look at him when making a similar character. The cast in general here is very, very strong. For the most part, they're all incredibly well-rounded with enough differentiating qualities in design and personality to make none of them feel the same, but with enough similarities and other aspects to bounce off each other perfectly. Every main and side lab member all have a big part to play in this experiment going as smoothly as it possibly could, even though it goes all but smoothly, and it makes it clear that the only way they will succeed is if they're all working together. Every single person here is necessary, none of them feel useless. The main star out of them all is definitely Makise. She might just be my favorite character in the series because not only does she have the most lovable personality out of everyone, and one of the more complex and interesting character arcs in the show, but her chemistry with Okabe feels so satisfying and patient. A lot of anime romances end up feeling very forced, out of nowhere, or just flat out rushed, but here it takes its time. Their relationship starts out very sour, but slowly becomes something more intimate and complex as the story goes on, with both of them knowing they love each other, making it difficult for both of them to make the sacrifices they have to make later down the line. This dynamic is well built and is so important to the plot, not just because of what it adds to their characters, but also what it means for the ending. Happy endings are something you don't get to see a lot of without some kind of catch to them, and when there isn't one, a lot of effort will need to go into making sure it actually works. And the main reason why it does work here is because of how earned it feels. If these characters didn't go through as much pain and suffering as they did, it wouldn't work. If Okabe and Makise's relationship wasn't so well written, once again, the ending wouldn't work. So it truly is a big accomplishment that they were able to give every character a happy ending without making it feel unnatural or unearned, because you rarely ever get to see endings like that done well. Other lab members I like a lot go to Suzuha and Mayuri. I love Suzuha because of her mystique and the more badass side she brings to the table and to the group. Also, the little twist that reveals her as Hashida's daughter was surprisingly well done, especially since they didn't try to make it weird like a lot of other anime try to do for some reason. And I'm not the biggest fan of Hashida, but I don't dislike him. He's still a good character, but I think his whole pervert gag is just not funny. It never is, and he's not an exception. Mayuri is definitely the primary cute girl of the team, and while she doesn't add much in terms of brains or brawn, what she does add is the beacon of hope for everyone around her. She's the heart of the whole group, and they all know that. She's the only one there with any real optimism, and we see through her relationship with Okabe that without her, he wouldn't even be able to move forward because he would no longer have that hope in his life anymore. So the little arc focused around her rescue was all the more satisfying when it's so hard not to love this character and want to see her live, because of all she's had to endure for the sake of everyone else despite never needing to do so in the first place. At first, with her little cute persona, I thought there was a lot more to her. Like, I thought she had like some deep hidden motive, or that she was behind some like big conspiracy, or like some big enemy later on at the very end, but I was super wrong. I mainly got that impression because of that middle section in the story where it gets kind of weird with her, but I was wrong. It went to a completely different direction that I didn't expect, but that's kind of what this show does in general. It does everything I don't expect it to do. The theme of sacrifice and selflessly giving up something you may want deep inside for the sake of protecting others and doing what's right is by no means a new idea that's brought to the table, but Steins offers one of the best examples of this theme that I've seen in media. It's able to portray this message with so much optimism while still feeling mature in the process. It tells us that we don't need to change or alter time or change the past to get what we want or need, but rather that everything we could ever need is right in front of us and never needed to be changed to begin with. Well, besides a couple things, but you get what I mean. These are characters that went through hell and back, and the fact that they were able to make it out all right with an optimistic and happy ending that gives everyone the conclusion they deserve makes for one of the most emotionally and mentally satisfying watches of my entire life. Steins Gate is an amazing series and one that is going to be on my mind for a very, very long time. The only thing I wish I could do is go back in time and tell myself to watch it sooner because it's already snuck its way into my top 10 favorite anime. That's right, Steins Gate, you are another recipient of the Returning Sun stamp of approval. Fantastic show, and yes, I will watch Steins Gate 0 soon enough. I don't actually know what the consensus around that is, but I guess I will learn over time. And with that being said, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about today. Just watch Steins Gate. It's an awesome series, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye bye.